Hi everybody, it's Benita Moyers, the Happy Tech Teacher, and I'm going to share with you today one of my favorite tools with Google besides my new one, Google Drawing, and it is Google Keep. Now, Google Keep I use on desktop, I use it on my iPad, I use it on my iPhone. It is a very versatile tool, and a lot of people don't know about it. They really have never tried it, and they don't realize all the capabilities that Google Keep has. First of all, I've mentioned that they have the apps for the phones, but also they have an extension for your Google Chrome. So if you click on the extension, that's going to allow you to save things to Google Keep right from websites, including pictures or notes and things on there. So it has a lot of capability with it. So I have open here my Google Keep, and you're going to see that there are several features over here on the side. You have the notes. Then you have, if you have reminders. Now, I don't have any reminders set right now, but if I set some reminders, I can find it there. There are labels. Then you can edit labels and add labels. So maybe I might have some for home. I might have some for school, and maybe even Happy Tech Teacher. And the labels are basically like folders or categories where I can click on that and I can jump quickly to it. So, for example, if I go back to my notes and I go into my grocery list one, I can go down here to the bottom and I can add this label as home. And now, if I go in here to my home label, you're going to go directly to any of the notes that I have pinned for that. Then you're also going to see archive. So if I want to get rid of a list, I don't want to see it right now, or a note, I can archive it if I don't want to trash it. Sometimes there's things that maybe it's something that you're used for planning and you don't need it anytime soon, but you don't want to get rid of it and create it over again. You might want to archive it. So let's dig into how to actually create a note. So you're going to see here, I've got a couple of notes here. Notes actually will start out very plain. They will start out just kind of white. There won't be a header here or anything, but you can make them very elaborate. You can add photos to them to be a header to make it pop out so you know which note it is quickly. So for example, my grocery list, I keep this one pinned because there is an option where you can click on the note and pin it. I keep it pinned, and I like the image in there just so I can go quickly to that grocery list without really scrolling through and having to read all the titles, and I can just find that list very, very quickly. And I did the same thing with some of these over here. But to create the list, there's always going to be this little shortcut kind of up here where it just says take a note. So if I click on take a note, it's going to open up and I can have a title. So I'm going to label this one, I'll just say YouTube video ideas. And then I can start clicking a note. Now I have a couple of options on here. So I can actually set reminders. I can add collaborators. I can change the color of my note. So let's say I do for my Happy Tech Teacher, I might want everything to be a blue color. Maybe I do color code my calendar by certain colors. So school's one color, Happy Tech Teacher's one color. So I can color code these notes to go along with this. So if you are teaching high school and you've got period 1, period 2, period 3, you could color code them where all of period 1 is blue and all of period 2 is orange or yellow. And so color coding can help you identify these notes even faster. It's not necessary, but it's just a visual way of finding things faster. I can also pin it to the top, just like I had this one. I can unpin it, or I can pin it back, just depending on whether or not how important I feel that it is. I can also, as you see how it went to the bottom when I closed it, I can also go in here and I can add an image to the top. I can archive, and then there's always more button right here. So let's start with let's type in a note first. So I'm just going to put in, this is an example note. So you're going to see that this is just typing in paragraph form right here. All right, now if I want to set a reminder, so let's say that this is something that I need to do, I need a reminder, I can go in here and set it for later today, tomorrow, next week. I can pick a date and a time. I can even make it repeat. And then I can even pick a place, a location. Now, I can't do this on my laptop. If I'm on my phone and I have it set up where it recognizes my home or my work, I could put on here, remind me when I get home. So reminders can come in very handy if it's something very, very important. Another thing that's really great is adding a collaborator. So you can add a person by sending it through their email and inviting them to collaborate. And this comes in handy for you or even for students working on projects. So for example, last fall, I was on the planning committee for our fall festival. And the first day or two, I was getting overwhelmed with text message after text message after text message of ideas and who wanted to do what. And everything was getting so buried and we couldn't keep up with it. We didn't know who had actually done anything. Stuff was just all over the place and I could not function like that. I had too much to do and this was too important to make sure that we did it well. So what I did was I set up a Google Keep and I added collaborators by inviting everybody on that committee to join in. Then I was able to go in over here to the three dots and I clicked on check boxes. Now what this does is it allowed me to make lists of this. So for example, here I'm doing YouTube video ideas. So I might do some for Google Keep and then hit enter. I might do one for Google Slides and Google Docs. You get the idea. I make a list on here and now it has a checkbox. So as I complete that task, all I have to do is click it and it goes down to the completed items. So now I can delete that or maybe I didn't do it or I thought I did it and I didn't. I can uncheck it and send it back. I can reorder these by hovering over these 6 dots until the cross comes up and I can order them up and down. So when we were planning that fall festival, we knew that getting the vendors was the most important thing. We drug it to the top of the list. And then here's what's really nice. Let's say that I want a subcategory. So in Google Slides, I might want to put inserting media as one and inserting tables as one, but I want that kind of under Google Slides. I don't want it as a separate thing. So what I can do is grab that crosshair again and shift it to the right slightly. And now I have subgroup underneath this group. So this gives me a lot of ways to plan in little groups and categories in an organized way that my team and I can then check off. And we can even, sometimes we would even put like our name beside it so that we knew who typed it in. But it was all there in one place. And when one person updated it, it updated on everybody's Google Drive and everybody was able to see what had been done. We were able to insert pictures if we wanted to, but also you can add drawings. So if I go to the 3 dots right here, maybe I was trying to explain something and they couldn't quite get the idea of what it is that I was trying to draw, and maybe I'm trying to draw a picture of a game or something like that, and I can kind of try to sketch it in here. I'm not good at drawing with my mouse, but let's say I was doing something like a pumpkin toss and they were tossing this in here. You kind of get the idea. I can do that little drawing, and then when I go back, it's going to insert that into that keep. So now they can see the drawing with my explanation on there if I want to put that in there. Now I'm going to delete that for now. But I can also go right here and I can add an image. So if I have something saved on my drive, I can add that image in there and it will be in there for me to use. So let me go into a drive in here and go in, and I keep all of my graphics in one folder. So let's say that I want to just put a PNG in there of something that I want to enter into a document or something like that. I can store that in here, or I can even use it as the header. That's how I did the header for my groceries thing. You just have to keep in mind the larger the photo, the bigger it's going to be here in your Google Keep. So it's not the best place to store the images, but you can put some in there. And even if you find one, if you're doing research on the web, you can click on Google Keep and it will insert it in there as well. So let's go in and let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go. This is called the Omnibox right here. It's just a fancy name for the search engine. So let's say that I'm looking for frog clip art because I have a froggy classroom. So if I look for the frog clip art, and let's say that I'm going to this website and I'm looking around at all their different graphics, and if I find one, I can click on the Google Keep button up here, and it's going to let me insert, whoops, I turned it right off. It's going to, oh, I'm not signed in. So it would, if I was signed in, it would let me click on and insert that into Google Keep. So I'm not going to log in right now because it's pretty simple, just clicking it and going in there. Now, one of the things that you can do once you have entered all your information in there, and let's say that we are through with planning, now we're implementing and we're getting all of our resources together and we're trying to set up. One of the things you can do then, if you want to print this out or make it into a fancier presentation, you can click on the three dots and copy to Google Docs. So if you have students using this to brainstorm a paper that they're doing, a group project, they can then insert this, and when you click on it, it's going to have Open Doc down here at the bottom. So they could just brainstorm in Google Keep, and then they can come over to Google Docs and they can do their final project and make it really nice and add their citations and add more pictures and change the colors and that kind of thing. It's going to put it in just as a very, very basic little outline right here. But the nice thing is you have it on your phone, which you can get Google Docs on your phone too. But it's just a fast, neat little way of storing ideas and resources in one place and sharing it with other people and being able to just quickly click on these lists at any time and checking them off if you want to. You can see most of mine, I always do checklists. I just prefer, I love it. That's why I like it the most, is I can have a checklist. I have bought apps before on my phone that I didn't like, but I bought them because they could create a checklist, but they didn't work nearly as nicely as Google Keep. And then the nice thing about Google Keep is then I can also edit it on my iPad or on my desktop. Now, also up here on the Take Notes, you're going to see where you can do another drawing. You can do another note with an image on here without just clicking on that. You can insert the image first and then write the note around it that way as well. So it just depends on whether you want to start with your note first or the picture first. That's really just kind of a preference thing. So I'm going to go in and show you just real quickly, once this loads up, how easy it is to archive this. I mean, not to archive it, but to delete the note. I just hit delete and it's gone, or I can click undo and it's back right there. So remember, you can add labels over here. You can add drawings. You can grab image text, and you can copy to Google Docs. And the grab image text is really if the image has some kind of text in there, like maybe it's an ad and it has some information there. You can do a grab image text and it will get the text off there for you and put in there. But there's not anything on that one right there, so I can't do that one for you right here. But if I was on a website and I got a picture like that, I can get some of that stuff off of here. Let's try it with this one right here, actually. Let's see if it'll grab this one. I don't use this one particular feature a lot. Yeah, it's not going to let me do that one. But usually, if you have a lot of text in there, it will kind of grab it. I usually use it more for images and check boxes and things like that. But if you are planning to take the level 1 certified exam, you want to make sure that you know how to do at least how to insert a note and how to do the drawing and how to share your notes by adding some collaborators and things like that. Now, on my phone, I'm used to, and it's not allowing me to do it on here, but on my phone, there is a speaker option where I can talk into it and it will type the text for me. So just be aware that that option is on some devices, or at least it used to be. As of some of these recordings, Google changes things all the time. They add things, take things away. Just make sure you practice and play around before you take the test and that you're comfortable using all of these things. You can switch it to list view up here. You can fool around with some settings up here. It will let you enable the dark mode if you want. This just kind of makes it a little bit easier for some people who the computer flicker bothers them. You can go back into settings and turn that off. And that's just a nice little feature that they've added very, very recently for you. But this is stored in the cloud. So whatever device you go to, as long as you are logged in, you will be able to access these files. Or you can share it with your collaborator and they can access that particular note. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below and I will try to get back with you. And I hope you will have fun and play around with Google Keep and maybe download the apps and see what great things that you can save and store on here. Have a happy day.